Welcome to Revolt Records. Today I'm going to address the riots that are happening all across the country during this so-called pandemic. So, people have gone stir crazy during the lockdowns. This is not about justice for George Floyd, his murderer, the ex-police officer, Derek Chauvin, has been arrested. So these protests have nothing at all to do with that. Okay? The state of Minnesota made the right decision by arresting that police officer and charging him with murder. I would not be surprised if agent provocateurs incited the riots. We already know that people are coming from out of state, and it's been proven that agent provocateurs have been used in the past to turn peaceful protests into riots. Local peaceful protesters do not condone people from other states and cities coming in and rioting and looting. This has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. That's irrelevant. The deep state want division among the American citizens in order to divert anger and discontent towards the corrupt, power-hungry, tyrannical elite that runs the world. They are using divide and conquer tactics. People need to be aware of this. They are trying to divide us. We need to stick together and fight in the correct way, not breaking into stores to steal TVs and stuff. Okay? We need to get together and address the tyranny and the erosion of our civil liberties. I understand the frustration of protesters who are fed up with this broken system based on the magic money system of the Federal Reserve. And those who know what I'm talking about, you understand. The continuous erosion of our basic freedoms and constitutional rights. But burning down small businesses and selfishly looting stores for a quick score of material goods has nothing to do with seeking justice for police brutality. There are many cops who are great and respectable officers who genuinely care for the peace and livelihood of their respective communities. I just saw a segment yesterday of a police officer who goes to skate parks and gives out boards and wax and wheels and stuff like that to the kids at the skate park. And then he skateboards with them. Not all cops are bad. There are many cops that do this. Hell, there's an entire organization of police officers and ex-police officers called LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. They're trying to end the war on drugs because they know that it's a waste of money and that you're never going to stop people from doing drugs. There are those people that do drugs responsibly. You know, there's a lot of people that can't control it and they need to seek help. But back to the main issue here. These cops that are respectable in their communities are great citizens who put themselves in danger to protect the people. A couple of rogue cops that are on a power trip is few and far between. There are some bad apples in any profession. When I was younger, I used to hate all cops without even considering basing my opinions on them as an individual in an individual basis. This narrow-mindedness, I have since realized, is intellectually lazy. I have encountered many very upstanding police who treated me kindly, who gave me breaks on certain things. But I have also had brush-ins with completely unjust officers who are on a power trip. My friends and I used to get chased out of skate spots regularly. Some cops were nice about it, and on one occasion, an officer confiscated a couple of my friends' skateboards, and they never got them back. So this notion of systematic racism or systemic racism or whatever the hell you want to call it, a lot of these stupid snowflake buzz terms nowadays, that's completely bogus. It is intellectually lazy. It is a cop-out excuse in an argument that holds no weight. Squash your cognitive bias and research the arguments and statistics from both points of contention. That is very important. That we look at both sides of the story. Otherwise, we'll just be in an echo chamber. And we won't be open to new ideas that, if we gain the right perspective on, can be proven to be the correct ideology. So, like I said, research the statistics from both points of contention. Black on black violence needs to stop. Don't let these people that don't do their research convince you that it's only white people and it's only the cops that are out to kill all the blacks. That's not true. Look at the statistics. Do not let gangster rap dictate how you treat your fellow people. Now, I've made 2 hip-hop albums. I respect rap music for what it is, but in the black community, it is very prevalent to think that gangbanging and shooting rivals and stuff like that is somehow makes you cool, or you get street cred. And that's just ridiculous. Especially in times like these, we need to stick together and fight for the common good against our oppressors, no matter what your skin color is. This violence between blacks has got to end. It's not cool. It's very ignorant. Furthermore, it is not racial profiling when the ghetto areas have the most crime, which is why white, black, Hispanic, Asian, etc. police patrol in these areas. They don't go patrolling around in a gated community because they know that's not where the crime is at. And their duty is to uphold the peace in society and to prevent crime and to protect people's property. So go to the source of the problem to solve the problem. And, people that live in those areas, I've seen many cases where they pulled themselves up out of the bootstraps and they're upstanding citizens and they were able to move their family out of that low income, semi-slum type neighborhood or, Section 8 housing or whatever. I have seen those cases before, and I commend those young African American men and women for being able to overcome that struggle with such overwhelming odds, where in some cases, their parents weren't even able to keep their head above water as far as, providing food for them. So I'm very aware of that. So these police patrolmen in the ghetto areas, in the hood, they have an obligation to fight crime. So they do so in the areas that statistically contain the most crime. It's only logical. I could go on and on about how half of black fathers do not stick around to raise their kids and guide them in the right direction of integrity, or how both black and white people in the poverty areas can develop certain character traits. This includes being lazy, able bodies who could work but expect a handout in Section 8 housing provided by the government. And so on and so forth. They refuse to accept responsibility for themselves and their actions. So they blame other people or the system itself. And that's just sorry excuses. You need to take ownership and wear what you did or what you are doing. And it's not too late to change course and become a better human and a better citizen. This is how we stop this. Okay, so they do blame other people. They blame the system itself. They use these dumb buzzwords like systemic racism and white privilege and all this other crap. It's completely bogus. And the people that spout that off and believe that are nothing more than little babies. They're complete snowflakes and libtards. So, accept responsibility for your actions. That's what builds character. That's what makes a strong human being, is to be able to admit when they were wrong and to do their utmost to correct it and make things right, instead of deferring blame on, any and everything else that you can try to rationalize in your own mind and to other people. So, they're refusing to accept responsibility. They blame other people. They blame the system, while they're collecting welfare or food stamps from the so-called systematically racist government. I mean, if it wasn't so sad that these people were not properly educated or just didn't seek the truth of the nature of reality and this shit show that we have going on in the world as far as the magic money system and all these other things. They're basically taking the easy way out. It's just a cop-out. So they're collecting their welfare. They're living in Section 8 housing. They got their food stamps. But the government is systematically racist. Such irony, huh? I am a firm believer in basing your opinion of someone due to their morals, their deeds, and their character. I do not judge somebody by the way they look. And no one should do that. It is unfortunate, though, that the blacks have collectively very bad statistics in multiple disciplines. I do have many more to say on this topic, but for now I'll leave you with this thought to end the video. I do believe that people have gotten cabin fever during the lockdowns, and many of the protesters have hit a boiling point, especially of those who have lost their jobs due to the virus. And not just because of the virus, because of these asinine mandatory lockdowns. It makes no sense, really, when you look at it. You know, everybody's wearing a mask, but it can get into your eyes and into your ears. The Targets, the Walmarts, you know, the liquor stores, all these other things are open. You know, doctors' offices, pharmacies, you name it, you know. And they shut down all the restaurants, all the barbershops. You know, it's time for us to reopen and get back to work because, let's face it, this virus is very problematic. But it hasn't even killed as many people as the regular flu and pneumonia as of about a week ago when I checked. So this is all just a scare tactic. It's like a long con coup. It's a slow version of 9/11 to continually erode our civil liberties and burn the Constitution and keep everybody in home and have all these dumb commercials on TV from all these different companies, you know, or nothing. They can't talk about anything else but this stupid Wuhan virus. Okay? So these protesters hit the boiling point, especially those who lost their jobs due to the virus. But there's no need to burn and loot, especially since the murderer ex-cop in Minnesota has been arrested. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. Why all of a sudden all around the world, or all around the USA at least, there's these massive protests that a small group of people come in and incite the riots and start the riots and the burning and the looting. It just does not seem like a logical progression, which leads me to believe that the deep state and the agent provocateurs are involved somehow in inciting these riots. They want to completely burn the Constitution in favor of a fascist state. And the pandemic, along with the nationwide riots, are starting to result in a military takeover of this once sovereign nation, complete with the worst kind of dystopia for the USA. Do not allow them to erode our civil liberties. It makes me so happy to see people out there protesting, armed with AK-47s and AR-15s and, guarding the businesses so that these looters and out-of-state riot instigators aren't able to come in and burn down these local businesses. That is the power of the Second Amendment in work. And that's why we have it here in America. Do not allow them to erode our civil liberties. We don't want the nonstop surveillance state. We don't want forced vaccines, etc. We want to retain our liberties. Get back to work. Attend summer music festivals, etc. Stop snitching on your neighbors. That is completely asinine. Stop freaking out when someone refuses to wear a mask. And listen to these people that are telling you about these things. There's a reason why people aren't wearing the masks. And you get mad at them and shun them and bully them, and all of a sudden you got 6-7 people all berating this one person because they're not wearing a mask. Well, guess what? That one person that ain't wearing the mask is a hell of a lot more intelligent than those people wearing the masks that are go around and insulting this person that made his own personal decision not to wear it. Like I said, it can get in through your eyes, it can get in through your ears. But if you take your silver solution, your multivitamins, and other homeopathic remedies, and start eating more nutritional food instead of just sitting on the couch all day eating, TV dinners. These are all things you can do to boost your immune system to the point to where, you really don't have to worry about catching this virus. If you're a generally young and healthy person, But see, these people that aren't wearing the masks, there's a plethora of different reasons for that. Well, they say, for instance, wearing a mask isn't going to help if the droplets get into your eyes or your ear. It's still going to infect you. Or into an open wound. It's still going to infect you. Also, they are aware of the silver solution, the nano silver, the alkaline silver, the silver and vitamin C lozenges. I mean, the astronauts use that stuff. The military uses it. It's been clinically proven to work in multiple peer-reviewed studies. So, it just saddens me to see so many people that have become so brainwashed by the constant fear-mongering of the mainstream media that they would shun people for not wearing a mask because they're too ignorant to understand the reasons why. If they just opened their mind and did some research, they would find out all the things that I've been saying and that Dr. Paul Cottrell has been saying about this virus, and the statistics don't lie. It's not that bad. Okay? We need to get back to work. That's why people are at this boiling point here. And the people that are going around shunning people for not wearing masks, they don't even realize that they are their own prison guards in their own mental prison. Shout out to Billy Carson, Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4 for that quote. But literally they are. They're so brainwashed that they have become their own prison guards in their own mental prison, and they're trying to enforce that on other people. So, looks like, the deep state's doing a pretty good job with, dumbass flip-floppers like Fauci and, polio infecting, vaccine pushing, psychopathic, or at least sociopathic Bill Gates. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And I think that the deep state, or these vindictive Democrats, have a hand to play in this. They're trying to ramp up civil unrest right before the election, and they don't want Trump to win again. And at first I was skeptical when Trump became president, but I'm starting to come along to him. Especially that new executive order that he made about the social media and stopping this censorship. Because like I've said previously, there's multiple congressmen or senators that are suing these social media sites for just burying their promotion for their campaign into their algorithm. And they even deleted one of my videos, and I had less than 20 subscribers at the time, because I spoke the truth and I showed evidence. So that has got to stop. And these people need to realize that they're not free. They're being psychologically controlled and conditioned and pre-programmed to act this way, to treat their fellow Americans in such a shameful, disgraceful, and disgusting manner that they would go so far as to literally chase somebody out of a store that's not wearing a mask, because they don't have any idea what's really going on, because all they watch is the mainstream media, who has the power to publish and is probably pressured by certain entities, such as lobbyists or, communists, or, the 3-letter agencies, and, who knows who else, to run these ads and to run these segments that are blatantly propaganda under the Smith-Mundt Act of 2012 that legalized domestic propaganda in the United States. So, check that out. I know this was a pretty long rant, but these are my thoughts on the current events, and I'm glad that we have the garden going great. Some new shoots just sprout up today on the rows of corn, and one more of those pole beans. And yeah, this is MZRA Morris for Revolt Records. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.